Welcome to Story Mode, a video game podcast. I am your host, the parody account of Jesse Munro, and I'm joined tonight by the parody account of Simon Evans, the parody account of... I can't keep that one going. John McDonald, and the real Kyran Morrison.
Oh, no, I can get banned. Wait, no, I'm the real one.
No. You're verified, which means that your tweets actually matter.
I'm not
$8 a month must be nice. Must be nice.
Can I add a little tick to your name, Kyran?
Sure, why not? Just wanted it to be known. I sent it to him as a prank. Haha, pranked you.
What a week it's been on Twitter. Yeah, that's right. We're getting straight into the news.
Yep.
Okay. I was saying this pre-show. Normally I ask you lovely fellas, how you been this week? And you guys give me, to put it frankly, fuck all. So I'm going to pose a question to you. Now let's not get too into the aspects of this fucking wish.com bicentennial man who just bought Twitter. Okay. I want to hear, are you guys sticking around on the old tweet sphere, or are you moving on? Something else to greener pastures.
I have to stick around. Maybe. I can't leave. There isn't any social media I have any real investment in at this point.
I'm a bit the same.
If I leave, that's it for me on social media. I kind of don't have anywhere else to go.
Well, I was actually having like this internal debate with myself as well. I was like, what do I do? Do I leave? Do I stay? Or do I go?
Simon mentally argues with himself a lot.
I do, actually.
And mutters to himself a lot.
Genuinely do. You're not wrong. And I'm like, what other good social media is there? Because Facebook is just absolute arse shit.
It's a shit show.
Yeah, like Twitter's obviously burning itself to the ground as we speak in real time. It's entertaining as all fuck.
Fascinating to watch it happen.
What else is left? So, like Google Plus doesn't exist. Should we all move over to LinkedIn and start shit posting on there?
Fuck it.
What about, guys, what about Mastodon? Are you excited for Mastodon?
I've seen people jump into Mastodon and they're like, it's the most confusing thing. It's the most confusing thing. Like you have like all these different servers. Yeah. Apparently it's a cross between like, it's kind of like Discord, how you have different servers. And you can jump between them. And I was like,
apparently I
hate fucking Discord.
Yeah.
There's the Discord, guy who made Twitter, Jack Dorsey.
I fucking love Discord.
We know you're a massive simp for Discord, Simon, okay?
I like the idea of Discord.
Yeah, talking to people is fun. The basic premise of Discord, Discord team, you nailed it. People for thousands of years have liked talking to each other. So you've really got that one.
Hey, it could be worse. We could still be on Skype.
Everything else.
Yeah.
We could be on
let's
Skype.
go back to Skype, shall we?
Yeah.
It doesn't make it good just because it's not the worst.
How about Zoom? Do you want to use fucking Zoom? No, you don't.
Maybe.
No, you don't.
Look, it's probably just as good as Discord, to be fair.
No.
But yeah, the guy who made Twitter initially, Jack Dorsey, who I think is a bit of a dickhead anyway. Yeah. But he's making a new Twitter. And you could sign up to be part of the beta test. I'll sign up for it. I'm like, I'm curious to see what happened. But it's really annoying because I run my own Twitter account. That's right, at Jesse Spanner. Get involved. Jump on the sinking ship. We have the Story Mode account at Story Mode Gaming. We have Dialogue Options account at Dialogue Options. And I recently found the login details for my band that I was in 13 years ago, okay? And I've been having a lot of fun with that.
I did notice that.
I would say...
Yeah, I noticed that a lot.
I would say, for lack of better terms, I am peaking as a social media professional right now, okay?
I gotta say...
I am at my zenith. Yeah. And Elon Muskrat comes in. It's... Again, we're not going to get into him because we all have thoughts. We're all going to have the same thoughts on him. I don't want to hear how many times we can say the word "fuck him" in different manners.
I gotta say, your content today has been pretty on point on Twitter.
It's been great. It has been pretty deranged.
It's been great.
That's the stage we're at on Twitter now because you know what? We're all sinking the ship together.
Nothing matters.
Let's tear it down.
I'm a parody account of myself now.
That's my favorite thing at the moment, though, is that everyone's like, "Fuck it, this thing." Like that's why I'm not leaving yet because I want to watch this.
It's entertaining.
It's essentially watching a fireworks factory go up into flames. You're like, I shouldn't be here. There is a chance I will get blown the fuck up. But if I don't, this is going to be really fucking cool.
Today, all I've done, aside from work, wink wink for legal reasons, but aside from that, I have been going between Marvel Snap, Game of the Year contender, Twitter burning down and going through Facebook videos of these 5-minute hacks. Do you guys watch 5-minute hacks on Facebook?
Oh my
I can't
God.
stop watching them.
There's so many of these videos.
They're all dead. They all have to be dead by now. They're melting plastic. They're huffing fumes. One of them's like, oh, hey, how can you make a car battery into a decorative piece? They cut the car battery open, gutted out all these poisonous components, and then just put dirt in it and put a plant into it. And then you use it as a little pot.
There's
what is happening?
There's this one that keeps popping up on mine that's like 5-minute fashion crafts or whatever. And it's this woman that's like so animated. She's like, woo. She looks like, like the before of those like infomercial.
Oh my God, dude.
Why can't I hold these meetings?
Those.
It's like that.
For those.
The
and
moment
it's crazy.
me and your brother bonded as friends was, I'm pretty sure, over the black and white, like, is your life like this? Videos.
Yeah,
and there's a famous one of somebody going to wash their car and they're holding like 3 buckets and a bunch of sponges and just fucking
sprinting everywhere.
Dude, my life is like that. That is what my life is like.
Yeah, it's fair.
I'm a disaster.
Fairly accurate, yeah. God damn.
But yeah, that's one of the 5-minute hack videos I saw today was like, for like grilling. You shove forks into your grill hole over your charcoal burner. You sit one singular cob of corn on the top. I'm like, to what end? What do you mean?
It's corn.
Oh, here's a cool hack for your bike. They completely cut the bike apart, re-welded it to have a car tire on it. It's like, what do you mean? How much money have you made on this video?
Because some of them are like extra fucking stupid, where it'll be like, what's that? Your toaster is smoking every time you turn it on. Well, give it a wash in the bath.
Yeah.
And it will work fine.
Just get in there with it.
Please do not do that.
Yeah. No, Simon, don't wind it back. You've said it.
It's in the podcast.
And to get to those really hard to reach spots, just grab a knife.
No, absolutely.
Scrape it out. It's all good.
I mean, the best way. You should be fine if it's not plugged in your power plugs? Put your dick in there. The best way to clean it up.
Instructions unclear. Dick caught in ceiling fan.
Yeah, look what happens.
One of my favorite.
That is still my favorite fucking comment on a YouTube video. I think it's like how to put an apple on the wall, and it's literally just a guy holding an apple, and he just touches the wall with this apple, and then top comment was like instructions unclear. Dick caught in ceiling fan.
Skill issue.
It happens to the best of us.
Skill issue indeed.
Now, look, I did just mention Marvel Snap, and I'd be remiss not to ask Kyran and Joel where you up to on it. How you guys going at it?
I'm playing so much of it. Like, it's bad, but it's a great game. It's so good. Like, it is the perfect mix of like that. Just one more game. Like, it is that boiled down into this highly addictive substance that you just want to
ruined my sleeping patterns completely. Yep. Like this is the first time, when you watch those like current affair videos, like, oh, a video game is bad for people, like, is it ruining people's lives? If I watch one of them now, I'd be like, yeah, no, you're right, help. Help me, please. I don't think I've been this addicted to a game where I literally I don't want to play it to be like, oh, where does the story go? Oh, I love this gameplay mechanic. It's just like, I need it. I need the colors I need the game to say I'm good. Because I keep fluctuating between the battle level 29 and 34-ish. And I will get to 34 and then I will lose 12 games in a row and crash back down. And I was like, you start getting desperate for your next fix, okay? So you get into a game and I'm snapping straight away, guys. I'm snapping straight.
So here's where I'm at.
I'm broken.
The dangerous thing about this game and what has gotten me so addicted is it's a very clever mechanic, very simple mechanic. Just any of those battlefields, right? Or any of those abilities that just draws a random card and just goes, huh? I saw Goose from Captain Marvel come up and I was like, well, I want that card. So I was like, okay, where do I get it? And the Marvel Snap database is like, oh, that's in pool 3. I'm like, all right, where does pool 3 start? It's like collection level 300 and something. I'm like, all right, here we go.
I'm trying to avoid finding out too many future cards. Like we've spoken about a few on last week's Startup Options episode. If you want to go listen to that, it's on Spotify and iTunes and all good podcasting platforms.
Probably some bad ones as well, to be honest.
It's a mixed bag. Better than us. Okay. when you combine the reason we combine dialogue options and story mode, okay, we combine it all because altogether there's 100 really good ones. Okay,
Yeah.
At most.
about 70 of them are dialogue options.
Yeah.
You're too kind.
The other 30 are the story mode episodes where we had Kyran and Joel on.
Look, I'm hard pressed to disagree with you.
Guys, I actually went back and listened to our first episode, the first story mode episode. Oof. I want to kick my own ass.
Our first dialogue options episode is so long because it's an E3 episode and it goes for about a million years.
It's so
Your
long.
first episode was an E3 episode.
sure it was.
That is brave.
That is very brave.
It was very
Yeah.
Just
I'm
picked
impressed.
a random week in February and just said, fuck it, let's just start this already.
The other
That's literally
thing
what we did, Jesse.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
we
All right, sorry, I'm
do
misled.
you remember this, Joel? To delve back, we used to record at stupid o'clock as well. Because I used to do night fill for some of those nights.
That's right.
So
and
we
I used to work
record at like 2
hospitality,
in the
so it didn't
morning.
matter. Yeah. Like,
Stupid,
yeah,
dumb.
we'd record it.
Now we have adult jobs and we have evenings free. That's
Yeah.
not fair. That's not. I have a job where I have an evening free, so I can record at a reasonable hour, like this. This is mostly reasonable. Better than 2 in the morning.
Reasonable enough.
My bad.
Fine,
Western Australia,
living-
get your shit together.
Living in fucking Mordor. Anyway, before I start hammering into Perth like every other episode, let's hammer into some news because it's been a big old week of leaks and geeks. That didn't make any sense. Doesn't really matter. Let's start off with a friend of the show, Hideo Kojima. He's had a bit of a mixed bag of a week, hasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
It looks like one of his games, Overdose, has been leaked in the most bizarre way possible. Now, you may have heard of Overdose a few months ago. People saying, hey, there's a horror game. He's making it. Then come to the Xbox Cloud, yada, yada, yada. And this is when all the Sony people were just like, oh, you can't do that. It was a whole fucking shit show. But it looks like we've just seen the footage that spurned that initial rumor. Now, the footage it's a few minutes long. It shows Margaret Qualley, who was Mama in Death Stranding, a character based on her, walking around some sort of like dilapidated sort of apartment, just in a dilapidated building. There's a part which looks like some sort of almost like a quick time event, which is a bit strange. Ends with her screaming, and then it says game over, and it turns into the word overdose in a very, very cool way. But there's something about this leak the footage of this leak, it's a bit strange. So it's filmed by a fella who is filming it on his phone from a laptop. So it's playing on a laptop, he's filming with his phone. And he hasn't turned the brightness down because you can clearly see his reflection. And this man is laying naked from the waist up, just slumped on his couch, nipple adjacent. Okay, nipples akimbo, if you will. Okay. You see some titty. You see some man titty in this. And look, I'm excited. I'm very excited for next Hideo Kojima game. Fantastic. I'm wearing a Kojima shirt right now because I'm an absolute simp for his stuff. I want to know more about this mystery nipple man. Could you imagine Nipple Man in Death Stranding 2?
It's Jeff
Let's get
Keighley.
Look, hey, you joke. I'm getting tinfoil hat with this shit. Like, I
what he
think
wants
this
you
is
to do.
all. This is, yeah, I know, but like, I would not be surprised if this was all planned. Like, this was all planned. This is the man who, we'll talk about this like before we started recording. Like, this is the man who bandaged his entire face up and pretended he was someone else in interviews and had a completely different production company for a game that definitely wasn't Metal Gear Solid 5. And it ended up being Metal Gear Solid 5, and it was
To be fair, Metal Gear Solid 5 wasn't Metal Gear Solid 5.
It's like multi-layered genius, really.
It's like nails on a chalkboard every time I mention the name of that game. But it's like he's done
great game.
bad Metal Gear game. It's like
He's not wrong.
he's done weird shit like this before. So like I and I kind of want it to be like that because I love that kind of shit. Like it's so wild and almost like I'm gonna get real up myself here as well. But it almost feels like he's making, if it is true, he's making some sort of commentary on like leaker culture and like that people will do anything they can to get the footage out there first. That kind of thing. I don't know. I'm maybe reading into this way too fucking much, but like
It'd be funny
I love
if
it.
that was his go, because he's definitely had a bit of a boy who cries wolf situation that happened. Because in some interviews this week, he's just like, I'm not making Abandoned.
Oh my
Fuck
God.
off.
I think it came up on the podcast, didn't it? On his podcast?
Yeah, he's getting like letters and like emails and stuff. And he's like, it's just constant and it's getting really annoying. And he sounded genuinely like, come on, stop.
Yeah.
Guys, please.
Maybe this isn't that, or he's already too far into this. And he's like, what have I done? What have I done? But look, sorry, go on, sir.
I was going to say, look, I'm gonna take the side of the cynic here and just say,
Simon, wait, what?
I know, right? Crazy.
Simon,
the British guy being cynical. What the flying fuck? Whoa, crazy. Anyway, no, I've just seen enough like phone videos before to just really have my doubts about this. I hope I'm wrong. Like, I actually hope I'm wrong. I hope that this is real, or I hope that the nipple guy is, you know, actually involved in this in like a greater extent. But I've been burned too many times before, you know?
What do we
That's
actually think of the footage shown, though? Because it looked pretty shit.
Yeah, it didn't look great, honestly.
It's like pretty
early
standard.
cut. If it is real, it's a super early cut.
Yeah,
but
that's
it
the
just
thing.
didn't
It's
look
nothing.
like anything. And the part that got me is you only really see one part that looks somewhat interactive. And it really looked like a QuickTime event. It almost looks like something made from mobile. Not like,
It's just
not
yeah.
like a derogatory term to the game, but because it's literally like a shrinking red dot, which I feel like you almost want to put your thumb onto it. So it feels very touchscreeny.
So here's the thing, like, I don't know, I'm spitballing here with like just where my mind goes with these sort of things that are fun. Like, I don't know, is this, and maybe because I played too much, I played Inscription for way too much last year, but what if it's a similar situation like that where like it's a game within the game sort of situation where, because the fact, it's pretty on the nose to have like a game over into Overdose. Like, it looks cool, but it's a little bit like,
have you heard of Hideo Kojima?
I know, but like even for him, it's a little bit too obvious. And so I'm like, maybe it could be something to do with, I remember having very similar conversations like this with Death Stranding when we were first like got glimpses of that in the lead up to that game. And what we got was very different from what I thought. But like
some of the promotional stuff for Death Stranding was really fucking weird as well.
Yeah,
so
like
cool. the big whales and shit. Oh, I loved it.
It was cool, like it was fun, but it was also really weird.
The beach scene with like the figures in the distance, like it was great. Like I love that kind of stuff. And I kind of like, even if it doesn't turn out to be like that, I just love this kind of weird speculation of just like fun ideas that it could be. And so like I'd love for it to be like some sort of weird, like the game is shit because it looks like one of those games that you would see featured in like an episode of Law and Order that someone's playing in the background. You know what I mean? Like that kind of vibe. Like,
it looks like the game played him.
Yeah, like it's like that kind of thing. So I don't know. It'd be fun if it was like some sort of like game within a game sort of situation.
Game within a game, I think, is a fun idea, but I just also want to point out that you kind of have to respect, if you don't already respect Kojima, you kind of have to respect the fact that anytime there's a weird game going on, everyone's immediately like, is it Kojima? It's gotta be Kojima. No one else would do this. It's Kojima.
He's making a new genre.
Yeah, Yoko Taro sat there in the corner like, what about me?
It's that brand new Strand game.
Okay, well, speaking of Strand games, he's clearly actually genuinely teasing something at the moment on his Twitter. Who am I? What am I? Where am I? How am I? Kind of thing. And he's named a few actors who will be in a project. This is Death Stranding 2, right?
I reckon.
I'm pretty comfortable saying that. Because I feel like with the Death Stranding project, it's less. He wants to name drop. He wants to show all of his cool, famous friends. Like every time a new celebrity goes to the Kojima offices, he's collecting their faces, like Arya Stark.
Yep.
I think this is less about him being obtuse with his reveals and more being like, hey, look at my cool friends. They're on my podcast.
Yeah.
I kind of respect that. So I think we may not get the really, the riddles that we got with the initial announcement of Death Stranding. We know what Death Stranding is to an extent. We're still trying to work out exactly what it was.
Yeah.
But we know the general premise of it.
The only
I'm
thing
thinking we get that at Game Awards in December.
Yeah.
I think the culmination of whatever this campaign will be Game Awards for sure.
Yeah,
But
yeah. It lines up pretty nicely, and also, him and Jeff Keighley are,
mates.
about this far away from just kissing each other on the lips in the middle of Game
I've
Awards.
I've written stories.
I would be there.
I've read them.
There to fully support it. Like,
It's also called Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. The only thing that's throwing me off a little bit is like the red motif on all the promotional stuff. And if this overdose stuff is like, if it's real in some way, shape, or form, the logo treatment is all that same sort of red.
Has Margaret Qualley been named?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Let me look.
Although I guess if she was, she would be last. Being the main character, you would assume. Oh my God, what has Kojima done to us?
He broke
Yeah.
it.
I can just look at a bunch of random images and it's like, nah, this is going to be part of a whole new trilogy of games he's making. It's a new, like you said, Kyran, it's a new genre that actually ties in with his podcast.
If I include my favorite segment for TGAs, which has been Jeff's answer. I'm not kidding. That's a segment on his podcast
It's so
where Jeff
good.
Keighley delivers news.
It'd be really good if the trailer they show off at the Game Awards is super just bizarre. You have no idea what's going on, and then there's the TGA at the end where Jeff Keighley explains what you saw.
I would love that.
That would be good.
Tell you
That'd
what,
be good.
my mind is racing because now I just want that new Kojima trailer because I just want to know what music he's listening to. I know he's been hanging out with Woodkid a lot, which is
He's been
fucking
hanging out with
super
Woodkid.
exciting.
Yeah.
Super
Also,
exciting.
sad news about the dude from Low
Yeah,
Raw.
Low Raw.
That
Yeah,
sucks.
that sucks as well.
Yeah, sad.
I had them on repeat that day, and it's like,
Yeah.
they were good.
So, I only found him because of Death Stranding, but like ever since then, I've listened to
Exactly.
him a lot. And I'm like, oh, yeah, it's a loss.
Well, let's move on to some slightly possibly happier news, especially for someone like me whose favorite Metal Gear Solid game is indeed Snake Eater. There's been rumors of a remake of Snake Eater going around for a while, which is I've always found bizarre because I always feel like this isn't the Metal Gear Solid game they would remake, but if they're going to, sweet. Now, we had an image that came out a few weeks ago that looked like it was made under Unreal Engine, but I think it's been debunked. However, the rumor going around was it was a studio called Virtuous was making it. And it got debunked, but that meant people were already digging into Virtuous a little bit and they found something else. So while that image got debunked, there is a recruitment video that they have out in which one of the developers, just out of shot, you can only see the corner of the book, but they have the book, The Art of Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater, which I actually have behind me. Look, it is a leap to say, okay, they have a book on hand, they're making Snake Eater, but guys, can somebody please convince me that they're making Snake Eater? Because
I mean,
it will give me life force.
I don't think it's that far of a stretch because this day and age, we know that people love to do. I mean, we're just talking about Kojima. Like, people love to do this kind of stuff. Like, it was the same. Like every time we see Kevin Feige pop up anywhere, we're like, what hat's he wearing? You know, there was the period of time there was like Sean Layden would come out on stage and be like, what t-shirt's he wearing? Who's on his shirt? Same with Phil Spencer. Like people do this stuff because they know that people react to it.
Look,
so yeah,
I don't
think it'd be a stretch.
The important thing to remember is this rumor originally sort of started in 2021 in October when a Virtuous employee revealed they were working on an unannounced AAA action-adventure game remake. So, and this was also tied into the original rumors with Konami planning to bring back Metal Gear, Silent Hill, Castlevania. You know, Silent Hill came back in a big way with a remake and a bunch of new games. It's not...
Castlevania had its big, like, advanced collection.
Yeah, it got the advanced
re-released
collection. Yeah,
on-
as well as like them doing the anniversary one a while ago. It's not... I think it's only a matter of time until this is confirmed as true at this point.
I agree. And also, one thing I want to point out is that every year, I think, for like the past 3 years, there's been a fresh rumor of Snake Eater being remade. To the point now where I'm like, it's an inevitability rather than a possibility. Like, it's
Someone's
going
gonna
to
do
happen.
it, yeah.
Yeah, like it's absolutely going to happen. Speaking of that company, Virtuous, one thing in their clientele list that has been recently updated is Konami have been added to that clientele list.
Interesting.
This just stinks of like when we had that stuff with Bloober and Konami surfacing as well. It just seems like there's a lot of smoke here. Just saying.
I'm having a look into the games that were co-developed by Virtuous, and there are some.
They make some magical ports, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, I mean, they worked on the PC port of Horizon Zero Dawn. They also worked on the PS4 version. The Last of Us. Guys, strap in. Knack 2?
Oh,
Do you guys know what they're doing? Battlefield 1, Dark Souls Remastered for the Switch.
And
a lot of ports. Outer Worlds on Switch, Bioshock, XCOM, Dying Light, Nier Automata, all on Switch.
I want to also
all good
point
ports,
out,
pretty much.
It's almost too perfect that the studio called Virtuous does this remake, right?
Right.
Since the opening thing is Virtuous Mission, like
yeah.
Oh, I didn't think of that.
It's perfect. Virtuous Mission by Virtuous.
I've got a feeling this year's Game Awards, there's going to be like everything's going to get crammed into the first hour and a half, and the last hour of it is just going to be Kojima.
I'm going on holiday that weekend. I'm going to be in the car while it's on. Oh. In the backseat with my headphones on, live tweeting the motherfucker. Let's let it go, okay?
Hell yes.
Oh, mate, Game Awards are the best.
Yeah.
I work all day with my phone switched off. And then I'll come
I feel
home
like it's.
and I'll switch
I
the
feel
lights
like
off at like
wink,
8 o'clock,
wink.
and I'll start watching it. And then at the end of the show, when there's no Metroid Prime 4, I will angrily tweet at Jeff Keighley, and then the next day I'll be excited.
Yeah,
That's basically that's my process.
I feel
Your
like
daily process.
Yeah,
I feel
essentially,
like this year.
not always
this
at
year's
Jeff
the
Keighley.
year-
Sometimes they're different people, but this in particular instance, it will be at
Joel's
Jeff Keighley.
dying. Poor Joel.
Yeah, I was just copping it. I feel
What
like
did you
it's.
say, Joel?
Joel, which Star Wars movie would you?
I feel like it's this year's Game Awards is like going to be the one where it's like it feels like it's back.
I feel like we've said that about the last few Jeff Keighley events.
I kind of agree because we're sort of coming out of a back. Look, again, for the billionth time, COVID is not over. But
it's
I think
not
we're
over.
starting
No,
to
it's not.
slump a little bit. We're in terms of
Creeping
like
back up.
development and stuff
Creeping back
and
up.
everything.
Yeah, and like release schedules and stuff as well. And we're about to hit the period of games that were delayed for the past 2 years because of the impact of COVID. Like now we're gonna like the pace is going to increase tenfold now.
Yeah.
Like we're about to hit the stride.
We saw like a bit of Wolverine or a bit of Spider-Man 2. I was like, oh.
You're
Yeah,
already
well,
seeing
like,
it. Like the release schedule between now and like May is stacked. There's also those rumors
Yeah.
that Diablo's coming out in April now. Like there's next year is stacked already.
Oh, Jesus. Like it's so yeah, but that's the thing though. Like all this stuff that we've been waiting on for years is finally coming out. There's gaps past that now. So
yeah.
they need
Can't
to
wait
start
7
filling
years
some
to
of
Elder
those.
Scrolls 6.
But also E3 is back next
Exactly,
year,
like-
don't forget. So they might like
Also
people might want
true.
to I don't know. Who knows? Like it's too weird.
Tease it,
Yeah, but-
tease it here. Full announcement at E3.
But E3 is going to be handled by not idiots. Like it's going to be handled by the people
the
that
thing.
do PAX.
People who know how to
So
run a
this will be-
con, yeah.
Are you
Good.
suggesting that maybe
Friends of the show.
MGS3 could be at the Game Awards? Is that
What
That would be contentious.
yeah? Because I don't know how I feel about. I don't know how Konami and Keighley are at the moment.
Oh yeah, okay. No, good point.
That's a good
Yeah,
point,
all
that's a
right.
good point.
Yeah,
Well,
I'll roll
speaking
that
of Metal
back.
Gear Solid 3, a place where you can't play it is the PlayStation Plus, the new revamped PlayStation Plus. You can't play Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater 3, which could be one of the reasons the service has lost 2 million subscribers since its revamp. That was a shockingly good segue.
Love it.
So since June, it's been the first full quarter since the revamp happened in June. Almost 2 million users have dropped off. Now, the Sony chief financial officer admitted, quote, there hasn't been a great momentum as a whole. And he said that they're going to be tweaking how they sort of promote things in the future. However, I think this goes to a bit of a wider discussion. When the PlayStation Plus revamp was first announced, now this isn't the first drop. Every quarter before its revamp as well, for the last 3 quarters, subscribership has dropped. I was really pumped for this because there's so many games I wanted to play in it. But I've barely played any. I've played Prey, Stray, and another game that maybe rhymes, but I can't think of it. Oh, Medieval.
Hey.
Medieval.
Medieval.
That's Stray. It was right there.
I said Stray. Stray,
Oh,
Prey,
you said Stray.
Medieval.
Good.
Yeah.
Stray and Prey.
Prey and Stray, maybe.
All right.
Heavy Rain. Is that right?
Yeah.
It's a
What
big,
do you
but
guys
I'll
think
pay it.
of subscription services? Because I'm kind of lethargic about the whole thing.
It's kind of tricky. And one thing I want to bring up is that, like, saying PlayStation Plus lost 2 million subscribers sounds like a lot. And don't get me wrong, yes,
They still made money.
It is a lot, but revenue is up. Revenue is up. And also it went from 47 million down to 45 million. So in the grand scheme of things, it isn't
Yes
a
and no.
huge loss.
The new service cost more money, so revenue
Yes.
was going to go up regardless.
Revenue was always going to go
and
up.
you would
yes.
think that after you revamped it, that number should go up. That number should go.
maybe if
2
they
million isn't much,
supported it.
but it's the
Yeah.
wrong direction.
So
However, you would have hoped that went up by like 5.
yeah.
However, I also want to bring up the fact that, I mean, first off, some people probably wouldn't have bothered updating stuff anyway. One thing that Sony blamed was that people were going outside more.
I couldn't believe that.
Which-
I was just like, are you serious, Sony?
It's kind of hilarious, but also I don't think he's
they're right.
wrong.
They're right. And you know what, Sony? You know what we need? The Vita 2. I'll take it to the fucking park.
No, we don't. I
I will take the Vita
no one
2
needs that.
to the park. I'll play Uncharted, The Golden Abyss.
No, don't you
exists-
even
right.
joke about playing that game.
It's all right. It exists. It's called the Steam Deck, and you can get it in Australia. Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Thanks,
you can't play
Valve.
Golden Abyss on it.
I'm sure you could.
You probably could.
Like,
you
you could.
probably.
You know what the Steam Deck's good at?
Can
Emulation.
you put a pin in things? Kyran, you talking shit about Golden Abyss?
Yeah, I am.
You son of a bitch.
Anyway, going back to your point, Jesse. Yeah, I agree in the
Island,
sense that,
baby.
like, I'm pretty
show.
lethargic with the subscription services, in the sense that, like, I've now got more than I know what to do with. And I already suffer from choice paralysis when it comes to just my Steam library. And these are games that I have actively purchased. Games that I've gone, I want to spend money on that, and gone and got. Whereas with, you know, with the Xbox Game Pass and with PlayStation Plus revamp bollocks, it's one of those things where, yes, I have all of these wonderful, awesome, fantastic games at my fingertips, but where do I start? Because it always feels like I could make a wrong choice, even if it is a, you know, well-loved, fantastic, wonderful game that, you know, critics have loved since the dawn of time. It still might not be the game for me. So I'm kind of against it, against wanting to make a choice. And also, my PlayStation 5 memory, like the storage, is already mostly full. Like, I'm going to have to clear some stuff out if I want to get Ragnarok on launch day, which I'm still kind of up in the air about.
Even if
Keep an eye out,
even
though.
if you're not getting the memory though, like, do you have that same problem with your like with Game Pass and like the other sub services as well? Okay,
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like with Netflix as well, it's the choice paralysis that gets to me the most. And I'm like, I don't know what I want. And obviously, a few exceptions here and there, like Persona 5 Royals just come out on Game Pass, and I've been playing that on PC. But that's because I already know Persona 5. I already know that game. I already know I'm going to enjoy it. And I bought Royal on PS4, but never actually put the fucking disc in the machine. Because it was one of those games I'm like, yeah, I'll get around to playing it. But now it's on my PC. I can have the best experience I want from it. And there's no excuse otherwise. Like, I'm not doing the mental gymnastics to deny myself the experience. Whereas I can still do that with any other subscription service. I also sometimes kind of do it with, like, even Spotify, where I'm like, oh, I want to listen to some new music. I'll put on my Discover Weekly, and then I'll get 2 songs in, and I'm like, nah, this is a pretty rubbish Discover Weekly for the week. I'm going to go back and listen to all of Fallout Boy songs again. Right.
All of Story Mode video game podcast and dialogue options
choice.
available on Spotify and iTunes and all good podcasting platforms. Fucking really good at that. Joel and Kyran, what do you think about this PlayStation Plus shenanigans?
I upgraded my plan because it had that little, it's like, it told you how much it would cost to pay out the rest of your year. So I did that. I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'll buy the bullet. I'll go to the classics tier.
Yeah, I did that.
And then Sony just didn't put any classics really. So that's why I don't use it. Where's my Dino Crisis? Where are my old Resident Evils, my Silent Hills, my Castlevanias, my PS2 games? And they're just like dropping garbage. And I'm just like, I don't know. Like, that's where I'm at. Like, I upgraded and I've played Stray, which I was already going to do. That's why I upgraded originally. I'm like, you know what? Comes out in July, I'll upgrade, I'll play Stray. And I'll keep it for the rest of like my Plus sub for the next 12 months, which I think I've got like a couple of months left. And I'll see where I'm at afterwards. But yeah, when renewing comes up, I'll probably just dip back to my essentials because I just don't need it at all.
Yeah, I'm probably the same. Like I only upped to the deluxe or whatever, not the classics, because I was like, I'm not gonna bother with that. But there was some stuff in like the 100 games that I was like, oh, I'll play that. And like, yeah, like I didn't even finish Stray. Like I played a few things here and there. The difference for me is I think every month I keep looking at like that what's getting added, and I'm just like, oh, okay. Like Deathloop, a game I've gone to buy like 5 times. Finally, I was like, I can play it for free. I've played like 2 hours of it.
What did you think of it? Because I remember you two were really, really pumped to play it, and I was like,
I was not.
Kyran wasn't.
Yeah,
Kyran definitely wasn't. Like,
I could have had. Screw that game, honestly.
I did the same.
I agree.
I don't care for it at all.
I did the same thing I did with all of Arcane stuff, where I start it and go, oh, this is really neat, and then like never go back to it. So, the difference for me is because like I have like cancelled mine because I was paying month to month just for now, just because of reasons. But with Game Pass, there was always something there that like was getting added, and I'm like, oh shit, yeah, I'm gonna check that out. And it wasn't first party stuff. Like, sure, like I got my Xbox Series S last year with a tax return or what, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna get my Series S. I'll get it just before Forza Horizon 4 comes out. Forza Horizon 5, the latest one. And because I was like, I want to play it on like decent hardware. So I did that and I loved it. Played it for ages and then dipped into a whole bunch of other little things here and there. And it's all these like other smaller games and like third party stuff that gets added that really keeps me coming back to Game Pass. And even now there's things that have just been added. I'm like, man, I should really up my sub again. I should really resub to that and check out some stuff on there. That and plus like PlayStation's is better now, but like their remote install was way better as well. Like remote installing stuff to the Xbox was so much better. Again, I love my PlayStation and I love my PlayStation first party games and all that sort of stuff. Like I'm a big fan of that, all those games. But man, I tell you what, the Xbox, come at me, pay me some money because I will sing the good word of Game Pass.
All this praise for Game Pass. Do you know which of the sub services I've used the most in the last 12 months?
What?
Nintendo's. I did a full playthrough of Ocarina of Time. That game is still a 10 out of 10, baby.
If you can manage to navigate the menus, sure. This is the way I've seen it because I was very torn, and I think the discussions we had regarding PlayStation Plus when it was first announced were quite interesting. And it when I look at Game Pass, I'm not looking at old games. I'm looking at the new, like the small new games that are coming. I'm like, oh, cool. I haven't experienced this. Everyone on my social media is playing this. We all kind of play it together. You're in that zeitgeist. But with everything on the PlayStation Plus, it's all classic games that people are after. Now, I've always had very strong opinions on nostalgia in games. There are some games which I will talk about being fantastic, but I refuse to go back to play them knowing that they're not as good as I remember. 10 out of 10 game right
here, Super Metroid.
Yeah. Kyran's right. It fucking holds up. It's so good.
Like, games like PS1 games like Gex. I have really fond memories of Gex.
Where's Gex?
Where's Gex? But if I go back and play but I will not go back and play it. I will not go back and play Gex because I know it's dated horribly and it's really, compared to other games, it's boring as shit. Croc, same thing. I went back and played Medieval. It was a remaster, but it felt, you could feel how dated it was. Recently, I went back and played Black. I used to remember Black, the Criterion FPS game, as one of the best first-person shooters of all time. It was one of the best of its time, not of all time.
Right.
So I've gone back. I'm like, oh, wait, this is a lot different to what I remember it being. Sony's really relied on nostalgia actually kind of like landing with people, and it doesn't. Nostalgia is really good in theory with games, I think. Not with everyone. And look, there are definitely exceptions to the rule.
I think I'm an exception.
You are
in
exceptional in Simon in your own way. But there are games that are the exceptions to that rule. However, the majority aren't. And you go back, you play them like, oh, okay, that's what this was. All right. And that's why I think they're two very, very different products. We compare them. And I think that's why PlayStation Plus doesn't have that stickiness like Game Pass does. Maybe going forward, when they start they need to drop one of these big first-party games on there next year.
Yeah.
I want like Spider-Man 2 on it.
The thing is, with Sony have gone into this clearly looking at Microsoft's model and going, oh, we want that money. So like, we'll just piss this thing out. Yeah, people will pay for it because they're doing it for Xbox, but they haven't really thought about it that much.
Let's be real here.
They've just
Xbox needs for wins and Sony doesn't. And that's really what it comes down to, right? Sony doesn't need to drop their big first party ones on there because they just don't need to. They'll sell millions.
But I'd like to see more support for new third-party games on it.
Yeah, no, that'd be great
rather
too.
Rather than relying on just classics coming out. Because
I was hoping that Stray would be like a precedent and they just haven't really followed up on it.
Yeah. So did I. And when they first announced that, it's like, oh, this is a third-party indie that's coming to this. And we're like, oh, wait, we've misjudged this. This is really cool. And there hasn't really been anything since. I'm sure there's been other games, but nothing of that magnitude.
Something like a roller drone. Like, that would have been perfect to drop on that. That would have been perfect. I still haven't played that game, and I was very excited for it, and it seems like 100% my shit. I still haven't played that game just because I'm like, I'll get to it eventually. But, like, if it was day one, it came out, it was like, you can get it for free if you got Plus. I would have been like,
with the DualSense haptic feedback, that game would have felt really nice. Also, sorry, just talking about the DualSense, and we're about to get into pricings of other peripherals for this PlayStation. Do you guys see the pricing for the DualSense Edge?
I laughed at it. I laughed at it and then laughed at it some more.
$330 fucking dollars? Are you kidding me? I wanted one of these things so bad. I'm wanting a pro DualSense DualShock controller for
the PlayStation Elite controller
forever.
Yeah.
The amount of money you have to spend as a Sony customer is bananas, and we will.
The amount of money I
happily
do
circle back on
as
this
a Sony
later.
customer. We'll come back around to that. But just quickly though, I guess sort of on the topic still of PlayStation Plus stuff. Nostalgia is a great marketing tool. It is phenomenal. That's why remakes always do well. That's why remasters are also often so cherished.
Also, too, like looking at the PlayStation Stars thing, all those little models and stuff are all from old shit. Like it's all like
I haven't
little
figured
digital
collectibles.
And an Astropod as well.
Like nostalgia.
Yeah, totally.
And then Sony just doesn't follow up on it. They just don't do it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like it's a great marketing tool to get you in. And then
once they've got you in,
they don't need to do anything. They don't need to do anything.
Well, I disagree. This shows that they do because nostalgia got everyone to sign up to sub, and everyone's like, "I'm good."
I want to elaborate in the sense that, like, yes, I agree they need to be doing better, but I'm just saying that they think they don't need.
Oh yes, sorry,
that's the point.
They think they've got you in. That's it. Cool.
Sony's had too many wins.
Sony at number one is. It's not good. Like Sony is on top is a bad time.
Yeah. But also, I think what's an interesting point is you said that they looked at the Xbox model and tried to copy that. I think they half did that. I think they took the Xbox Game Pass model and they also looked at the Switch, the Nintendo Switch Online model.
They looked at it, tried it, gave up.
Well, yeah, exactly.
And because
Nintendo's got like such a big, rich history of all of these classic games, genre-defining games in many cases, and gone, yeah, cool, we can do that. I still disagree with the expansion pass pricing on Nintendo Switch Online because
I only have it because I'm in essentially what is a pyramid scheme family plan right now.
Yeah,
that's the thing. I'm in a family
system.
plan. I'm in a family plan with a bunch of my mates as well. But the problem is that I'm the only one that would make use of the N64 stuff. So what's the point in me paying all this extra money when no one else is going to want to pay for it? No one else is going to want to contribute because why would they? Like it's just stupid and.
In a sign of
pricing's expensive.
In Sony not handling this in the best way, this week is the 20th anniversary of Ratchet and Clank. So to celebrate, they're introducing Ratchet and Clank Future Quest for Booty, A Crack in Time, All for One, Full Frontal Assault, and Into the Nexus. There's no Rift Apart yet. However, Kyran, you dropped the bomb on me before. These are the PS3 versions of these games. The fuck, man? Come on.
I know. So like Australia doesn't even get them.
What a dumb country we live in. You know what I mean? Let's all move.
Like I just and that's another reason why
space.
Like, so here, the PS3 was a fucking disaster, right? What a disaster of a console. Jesus Christ. Metal Gear Solid 4 is still trapped on that platform. Mm-hmm. Just trapped there. But because of how bad that was, it's now affecting them.
Kyran, the cell processor.
Fuck myself. And because of how bad that console is, they're still suffering now when it's doing all these like classic games. Because the PS3 was like a big part of its classic appeal, right? This nostalgia play. But then they were like, oh, it's also only streaming, so some countries won't get it. So we're going to give you a different like pricing scheme. And that was when I was just like, oh, all right. It's going to be like, this is it.
When the PS3 was first getting announced, back in the day, back when I was in high school, I was like one of the video game guys at school. So people would come up to me and ask me questions about it. And I used to read like the official PlayStation magazine and stuff like that. I was probably much more informed than I am now running a podcast about it. But this is also, peak console wars, okay? So you'd have your little argument with your Xbox friends and stuff like that. Your Nintendo friends were eating sand or whatever. And
hey, it was delicious sand. Thank you very much.
Playing the Metroid Prime trilogy, thank you very much.
And the whole thing where I come with like, the PlayStation 3 has a cell processor which is broken up into 11 different compartments, and one of them is going to control the redhead from Heavenly Sword's hair.
Remember when you played MGS4, you had to install each act individually with like an 8-minute install screen, and you just watch Snake smoke.
Yeah, and then the game telling you to not smoke at the same time.
But then you're sitting there like, hell's yeah, this is cool. This is high art.
This is the future.
This is how Hideo Kojima wanted this delivered.
Creators intent.
And then you look back at it now, it's like, stupid motherfuckers. Like, god damn it.
So, as someone who's kind of in the loop with emulation and stuff, and like retro game related emulation, the PS3 still, to this day, continues to be one of the single hardest platforms to emulate accurately.
Fucking cell processor.
And
the architecture of that is insane.
The general rule of thumb is the more cores your computer processor has, the better PS3 will perform. But even still, it's not a guarantee. And even if you do get it running at more or less full speed, you can't upscale anything. Whereas like GameCube, Wii U games, you can upscale to 1080p, no problem. Your computer's like still half asleep. You can emulate Xbox 360 games to 4K, no issue, not a problem, not a sweat. Your computer can handle that. PS3, oh, steady on.
Well, let's move on to another Sony L. The PSVR 2 pricing has dropped. Now, before we get into the cost itself, I was ecstatic for this thing. I bought the PSVR 1. I've spoken to about it ad nauseum. But hearing the initial thoughts of the PSVR 2, everyone's like, no, this is a legit piece of hardware. These new controllers are insane. The way it kind of focuses like the image quality on where your pupils are actually aimed at. I'm like, oh, this is the best. Then they said it's going to cost $880. That's 9 and a bit years of Twitter Blue. Okay? That is fucked.
And also worth remembering, right?
$880.
That's if you
standard
can get a
bundle.
PS5. That's if
That's
you can get a
more-
PS5.
Well, like, to be fair,
that's-
PS5 is
it's also-
going to be a little bit easier to get by now.
They are.
Yeah.
But-
Now,
And that's it's more than a PS5. It's more than the hardware that you need to run it.
We're still cheaper than a
With that
PC
being-
though.
With that being said, the original PSVR, taking into account the PlayStation camera and also the Move controllers, would have added up to be more expensive than a PS4
Yeah, it's
was
true.
as well.
Now,
so
the
that is also worth
$880
taking into account.
is for the standard bundle. So you get the headset, a pair of the PSVR 2 Sense controllers, and the stereo headphones. Or if you're a real fucking sucker, you can get the Horizon Call of the Mountain bundle, which will cost you $960 Earth.
Now,
Okay,
is
in this
that
That's
good
what
year
you've got pre-ordered, isn't it?
2022, you get
The
all
back
the standard
game?
bundle stuff and Horizon.
What's
That's
that?
one you've got pre-ordered, isn't it, Jesse?
I've got 2 copies. Okay.
does that mean that's an $80 VR game? Is that what they're saying?
Yeah.
No.
Oh,
no,
you
no,
better
no.
believe it.
It would be more
That's
because
true.
the bundle. So it's probably about 100. It would be the premium pricing for a
It's
PS5
going to
game,
be
which
a
is what,
full price
110 or whatever
PS5
it is.
game.
Sony's just like, pay up, baby.
The thing is, the more I see of Call of the Mountain, it looks really, really good.
It does.
I just want to play Forbidden West
Now,
at this
for
point.
for a bit of comparison here, the nearest competitor is the Meta Quest 2, which just got a price hike as well, but it still comes in at $630 for the 128 gig.
Is that
model.
wireless as well?
Yeah, it's completely wireless.
That's
You can
fully wireless.
you can plug it into a PC to get like to beef it up
Yeah.
to play other things. Like I think you can play Half-Life Alyx on it via like a tether cable.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of like if you just want to get it for like Beat Saber and fun things like that, it comes with
Which
it
are the
now.
best VR experiences, in my opinion.
Exactly, agreed.
No,
So here's
not shitting on Alex, by the way. Like,
no, of course not. Because like,
Alex, friend of the show.
yeah.
I've sort of heard what happens in Half-Life Alyx, and I'm like, oh shit. Okay,
I need to play that, man. I need to play Alex.
Okay, it's doing some things. But yeah, I'm still kicking myself. I didn't pull the trigger on a Quest last year when they were really, really like, I think they were down like $400 on sale, and I was like, I'm kicking myself. I didn't get one then.
So you guys,
Just,
like Simon, you got a VR headset, right? But you don't really use
do.
it. You don't use it very much, do you?
I don't have the space in my house, unfortunately.
I think I would probably put my hand up and say that of all of us, I'm probably the one most into VR. I'm fascinated by it. While I don't have any of the newer headsets because money, if anyone wants to give me one, sure. I've always kind of kept up to date with it. The PSVR 2, I think when you look at the PSVR 2 in the realm of gaming VR headsets, the price point isn't insane. The technology running this thing is incredible. It is mind-blowing how good this thing is. However, when you're showing it as a console VR experience, it divides itself into a bit of a more of a niche market. And where the PSVR 1 was trying to get that be really entry point VR, and let's face it, the tech, you could definitely tell when you played it. It was good. It was fine.
They were using
They've
PS3
gone-
controllers for it. So
Exactly. They've gone for a very different market here. They've gone for, rather than a console market getting into VR, they've gone for the VR market, which is who are used to spending a bit more money. When you compare it to the Meta Quest 2, on like technologically, it's pretty far advanced, and you're gonna get some, I think, more interesting games to an extent. The first party stuff looks pretty good so far.
I do want to talk about the games though, because there's one big glaring point about the PSVR 2, which we were talking about in our own private friend group. It is not backwards compatible with existing PSVR games.
Which, okay, I get that. Look, I get that. And from
I
a moral point of view, I understand it. However, who the fuck is jonesing to play their old PSVR games? I'm sorry.
There is some good stuff on there. Like,
I'm not running back to play that fucking Batman bullshit game.
No, but
maybe
not
Job
even
Simulator.
that. Like,
VR
there's
2
those
could
that-
use any of it, any help it could get
Job
to
Simulator,
bolster this library.
Moss. I mean, it's not exclusive to the platform, but Super Hot as well. Super Hot VR is fucking incredible. It's so good.
It is. I love
there are a bunch of these like experiences and games that are just going to be like, nope, they're done. We're moving on now. And I think that's again, for the price point.
That's a problem.
Yeah, it's a big issue.
It's a problem. There's,
big issue.
So a few things I want to bring up as well. So yes, the most comparable would be the MetaQuest 2, sort of like the most recent winning headset, as it were. But the MetaQuest 2 is entirely wireless. And I cannot stress, as someone who has played VR with wires, I've played the original...
Isn't the VR2 wireless?
No, it's got a cable.
No.
It's got one
Oh,
cable.
it's got one singular cable.
I think it's got a single cable, yeah.
But nevertheless, I cannot stress enough how much of a difference it makes. Because I played the original Oculus Rift when that first came out. One of my mates had back to the Kickstarter and got a pretty early set and had everything set up, and it was really cool. It was really fun, definitely worth experiencing. And I played the PSVR and thought, yeah, this is the most comfortable headset. And then I got myself a Quest and set up some space, played it, and it is unbelievable the difference it makes just not having that cable, because you're always aware of there's that weight on the back of your head. There's the adjustment that you have to do when you turn around. You have to make sure that you move the cable, or else you're going to get yourself caught up, or you're going to pull something off the wall and stuff like that. I do. I hate it. No, I hate it so much because it completely removes me.
It reminds you that you're in a room, though. You don't knock shit over. Like, I would rather have a cable and a better image than a lesser definition in the headset. I would rather always get
I wholeheartedly disagree with you.
Yeah, the MetaQuest is like...
You've been
the MetaQuest is good though, because once you step out of you mark out your play area where you're playing as well. So you could be out in a fucking park, in theory, and just map out your square with the controller and be like, "This is my play space."
Don't go outside. Sony won't like it.
I know, but as soon as you step out, as soon as you step outside
that's why it's got a cable, so you can't go outside.
Well, exactly.
Keeping you tethered.
Exactly. As soon as you step outside that play space, it turns on those outward facing cameras in a grayscale. So you can be like, oh shit, I'm out of the play space. I can see that I'm about to trip over the couch or my 3-year-old son or, whatever. I can see that. That's
It's not always that simple with and again, this is just from thank you for the raid. Liam Draws. Thanks, buddy.
Draws.
Hey.
Thanks,
welcome everyone to the stream. Those listening at home, you can be part of raids and streams and subs and all sorts of things at twitch.tv/SomanAUS. But welcome aboard, everyone. We're currently talking about PSVR 2. Is it good? Is it bad? It's definitely too expensive. See, my thing with that is I played a lot of PSVR, okay? And it wasn't a matter of, I got to the edge of a play area, I can step back. It's no, you've flailed your arms around. If you're knocking into something, it's too late. A camera wouldn't have helped you. So I always kind of like that little tether.
That's how you. That's you telling me you've never played with a Quest.
No, I've played with it. I liked it, but I found
the second your arm gets close to that, it immediately goes, "Whoa, hey buddy, there's the limit of your play space." You need, just bring yourself back in, and that's it. That's literally all there is to it, and it is such a such a more natural experience compared to having just something pulling on the back of your head the whole time.
What I'm saying is,
I don't know about you, Jesse, but I don't like getting my hair pulled in the middle of it. All right.
Well, you're a fucking loser.
Hey, we're not here to kink shame, all right? We're not here to kink shame anyone.
I'm not shaming. I'm just saying it's not for me.
What I'm trying to say is, I'm going to mute Simon in a moment. What I'm trying to say is, trying as hard as I can to say is, the PSVR 2, I think if you're going to compare them, I kind of at this moment wouldn't get either, because the PSVR 2 is more expensive, but from what I'm hearing, I haven't tried it yet, but what I'm hearing in reviews and stuff so far, what it's doing with the actual image quality, it far outweighs anything else that the other consoles are doing. And that image quality is what's going to sink me in, especially with somebody who's got really bad eyesight. That really broke the VR for me. And look, I've played the Quest before, and yeah, it's cool without the cable, but the image quality wasn't high enough to really... I still didn't feel like I was immersed because I was seeing very, the graphics at times. And that really took me out of it. So I can't really make a call until I play the VR2, and then I can make a fair comparison. But from what I'm hearing, to me personally, the image quality far outweighs anything else. It's the price point that's shooting me down. But however, let's move on to the games themselves. Because 11 more games, yay, got announced. None of them make me very excited. First up, the Dark Pictures Switchback VR. It's a fast-paced rollercoaster action horror shooter. It's made by the team who made Until Dawn Rush of Blood, which was also a fast-paced rollercoaster action horror shooter. It's Rush of Blood 2, but Dark Pictures.
Yeah.
It looks fine. I wouldn't get into a minecart with a gun. That seems like a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, that's fair.
It looked fair.
Crossfire Sierra Squad. It's a VR first-person shooter developed by Smilegate. It's your basic FPS game, but you can catch grenades and throw them back, which looks pretty fun. I don't mind that at all.
That was definitely the highlight of that trailer for me.
The Light Brigade, single-player roguelike developed by Funktronic Labs. This will be cross-buy for PSVR and PSVR 2. Cities VR Enhanced Edition, a VR adaptation of the city building game Cities Skylines. I don't mind that. That sounds interesting.
I love it. I absolutely love Cities Skylines, but I don't know how much I'd want to be doing such a long-form sort of game in VR. That's my only thing.
I completely agree. The one thing that I like about it, or the main thing I like about it, I think VR games work really well when you're not the character. You're part of the world. You've got the God view. And I don't think it was Moss. There was another game that came out on
Forever Saves the Universe by Squanch Games. The Justin Roiland game did that.
It wasn't that game, but that did it as well, yes.
It's similar thing as Moss, where like you were like, and the little character was talking to you, and you actually were in the space.
And you can lean like your actual head around the map and stuff like that. I think that's when VR works best. So that'd be really cool. Cosmonius High, a school-based game developed by Alchemy Labs. Great name for a studio. This is the team behind Job Simulator. It's currently already available on Steam VR and Quest 2.
I was like,
Alchemy
in my
great.
notes. In my notes, I was like, makes me think of Job Simulator. I didn't realize it was the same thing, so that makes a lot more sense.
Job Simulator was so fun in VR, so good.
One of the best introductions to VR. Flat
100%. Super simple. You're not moving around too much. It's good. Yeah. Hello Neighbor: Search and Rescue, a VR take on the popular Hello Neighbor series, coming to both PSVR and PSVR 2. Jurassic World Aftermath Collection, a compilation of both Aftermath games, which were previously released on MetaQuest. Did anyone play Aftermath?
No.
Okay, then.
I'm going to be honest. I think it looks kind of rough. Like, I think
most of these do. Most of these really, really do. Pistol Whip VR, an enhanced version of 2019's title Pistol Whip.
This is the one that I want to play. This is the one I want to play. It's like it's Beat Saber with guns. Basically,
is it because to me it looks like Motion Sickness City.
Nah, it looks great.
Motion City soundtrack cover band.
Yeah,
I love it.
It just looks like it's going to make me vomit. Like,
nah,
that's it.
I've seen some people play it.
I want to move around.
It's no, like the Pistol Whip is the one that I really want to play. It so I've played a fair bit of Beat Saber and I love it. But like this seems like a natural progression of it, and I kind of like the art style of it as well. But
I think VR games are really art style can really make or break a VR game. It needs to be simple and recognizable, because nothing is going to be as sharp as playing something on your on your TV or your monitor, obviously. So you need to make things very recognizable, and a distinct art style fits that really, really well. Zenith: The Last City, which is an enhanced version of the Quest and PSVR MMORPG. PSVR version.
Simon wants to talk about that.
Can upgrade for free.
I just want to say I don't think I've ever hated a trailer more than that one.
Oh.
I think that was awful. It looked... So the thing is with doing motion in VR is that obviously if you're able to walk around the room like you can properly with a Quest... it's pretty natural. It feels pretty good. if you are just moving a control stick to move your character, depending on the speed, it can either be absolutely fine and not an issue, or it can make you feel incredibly motion sick. Also, depending on how they do motion blur and also your field of view. That game looks like it will just make people vomit. It looks like you're flying around doing all of this cool stuff, which if you were sat down playing it on a computer would be really damn fun. However, in VR, that looks like I'm just going to fly around once and spew my guts up all over my cat. All right? Like, I hated that trailer because I'm just like, that is going to be the worst experience I can imagine. Also, it looks really bland otherwise.
We've also got After the Fall, an enhanced version of the co-op VR shooter, released last year for the Quest and PSVR. Again, PSVR owners can upgrade for free. And then we have, great name for a game, Tentacular, a port of the physics-based octopus game currently available on Quest 2 and Steam VR.
Yeah. I've seen that game kicking around. It looks great.
This is, out of all of the games, this is the one I think looks the best. It looks funny, it looks silly, it does what VR does best, I think, which is fuck about with physics and enjoy. Like, it just looks like absolute chaos. And who doesn't want to be a giant tentacle monster? Like, it's great.
The physics thing is the biggest thing, because like there's nothing better than picking up a VR game and getting into that space and going, I wonder if I can do this thing, and then being able to do it, and you go, that's great. It's worth the admission price. I was able to do that thing like in Job Simulator, for instance. It's like, I'm going to eat this rotten donut. Oh, it's made me vomit. Can I pick up the bucket to like vomit into the bucket? I can. Can I pick up the coffee mug? I can. What else can I vomit into? Like that train of thought is so great.
Can I eat the CD? No, I can't. Okay, but you can throw the CD up in the air, catch it, and flip it down and slam it into the disc tray, and it is great.
Yep.
Also, again, like I know we mentioned Super Hot very briefly, but like Super Hot's really fun for that as well.
Super Hot's so good.
All sorts of like fun like trick shots and love it.
Super Hot as a game in general is great, but them adding VR into it just makes it even 100% more better. It's insane.
Absolutely.
Now, between now and when the PSVR 2 comes out in February 22 or 22nd, as a human would say it, I'm sure we'll speak about it a lot more. I'm considering it, and I know that's dumb. I know it's a bad decision. I know it's overpriced. I'm just dumb and weak.
I'm going to put it this way, okay, in terms of the cost. So I didn't realize there was a premium package for the PSVR 2. I'm just going off of the base price, right? So I'm just going to round it up from $879.95 to $880, like, you know, average people would do. For just an extra $60 on top of that already $880 ridiculous price tag, for just an extra $60, which is less than the premium pack.
The premium it just comes with a game.
Exactly. Yeah. But for less money than the premium pack, you could buy 2 Xbox Series S's. 2 of them.
See,
that's Christmas sorted.
Nave just convinced me.
That's Christmas done.
Nave just convinced me because I've already got one. So, like, why would I need to buy 2?
This is all your fault.
I might as well just buy
Great console.
You could just buy me an Xbox Series S, and there you go. Like, you've spent the same amount of money.
Good, they're so cute. They're like a little,
I do kind of
tiny thing. It's so cute.
I am a big fan of the
let's wrap it up
Series S.
here, because I'm sure, like I said, I'm sure we'll speak about more PSVR stuff in the future. Now, if you want to hear us speak about that in the future, or you want to listen to our shows from the past, you want to listen to some old news, ooh, that's odd, but you can do that. We're on Spotify and iTunes and all good podcasting platforms. Search for the Story About It Video Game Podcast, or of course, Dialogue Options Podcast. Give us some love, give us reviews, share around. I don't know what the accent was just then. Share it around, tell your friends, do whatever you want with it. Print, copy and paste it into a Word document, print it out, throw it in the bin. I don't know what you want to do, but do what you have to. We're on social medias. For now. Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Story Mode AUS. You can also follow us at Dialogue Options. Of course, we're on Twitch, twitch.tv/Story Mode AUS. You can come along, you can be involved with our live recordings of these shows, you can be part of some of our video game streams, and you can also be part of a raid like the lovely Liam Draw that raided us today. So make sure you go give him a follow as well. Cheers,
Shout out to
buddy.
Liam.
Thank you,
He's a superstar.
friend.
Yeah, shout out.
And you can also follow us individually on Twitter while it still lasts, when none of us are verified and none of us are parody accounts. I'm at Jesse Spanner. Joel, where you at?
I'm at Jolly Mac.
Simon?
I'm at Sci421.
Kyran?
I'm at Lemon Man X.
And I just remembered, before Keelan was on doing study stuff, he will be coming back to do some more episodes in the next few weeks. We were always saying that his account was Elon Musk account.
Yeah.
I would like to
no.
think that played a part in things. But guys, definitely not now.
Parody.
Killing.
Yeah,
Elon
parody.
Musk, parody. But with that, hope you guys had fun. Joel, Simon, Kyran, always a pleasure.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Sure.
Dear listeners and viewers and people around the world, thanks for listening. Hope you had some fun. Hope you're excited for some of these games. Go play some PlayStation Plus games. Go ask Kojima if he's making Abandoned.
No. Go play
Go
Marvel
touch
Snap.
grass.
Go play Marvel Snap.
Go play Marvel
Go
Snap.
play Marvel
You
Snap.
can do that whilst touching grass.
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
fact.
you can do both.
Absolutely.
Like, you can play
Best
Marvel
of
Snap with
both
one hand.
worlds. That's
So
it. Yeah. The best of both
lie
worlds.
down.
I let
in the
my
park.
hands off the reins in the outro for a mere second then, and you're all talking over each other. Okay, this is absolute. This is what happens.
Play
at the
Marvel
end.
Snap.
I do want to play some Marvel Snap. Guys, thanks for listening. Hope you had some fun. We'll catch you next time. Play some games. Be safe. Bye.
Bye.
Kyran, stop recording.